Hey y'all, I'm here. I'm just about to check myself online like I usually do just to make sure that the sound is rocking and we good. Cause I don't want y'all to hurry. Y'all can't hear me. Kind of defeats the whole purpose, don't it? So give me a hot second. Let me get my audio right. Cause I want y'all to hear me. We doing some dope stuff today. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. So why did I say Happy New Year? Yes, because it is the spring equinox. I'm here. I'm just about to check myself online, what they usually do, just make sure that the signal is rocking and we good. Because I don't want y'all to hurry. Y'all can hear me. Come to peace the whole purpose on it. So give me a second. Let me get my audio. Alright, so I want y'all to hear me. Y'all can hear me. We doing some those stuff today. Alright, so I want y'all to hear me. Y'all can hear me. That noise is being made. Hold on, guys. I got y'all. Noise is being made. Hold on, guys. I got y'all. All right. So let's get started. Let me get up out of this group so y'all can stop hearing this loud ass noise. All right. So it's Aries season, y'all. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you, Indigo. You cute too. And I'm so glad for your happiness. Get that shit, sis. But yeah, let me get started on this Instagram live, John. So I'm trying to be on like multiple platforms at the same time. So I'm usually on like 4 or 5 platforms at the same time. And it takes a minute because I'm a one-man band and I'm trying to be a tech person, cameraman, everything else. But we get in there. And I just want to talk to y'all today about what the Aries sun is doing and what that means for y'all. And I know people are like, peace, Trey. How you doing? Peace and love, peace and prosperity. I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm not an Aries. This don't apply to me. Whatever. Well, it does. You don't have to be an Aries. We all live under the sun. We all use the sun for our life force. The sun gives us energy. And everything else. So as long as you're under this Aries sun, you are affected. You don't have to be an Aries to be affected. What I like to do is when I do the planetary forecast, I like it when people have their natal charts at hand because my intentions is to show y'all how horoscopes are made and how to make your own actual real interpersonal horoscope, right? You want to make one that's detailed that actually is about you and how your day is going and stuff like that. And the more information you have on yourself, i.e. the natal chart, the more precise your reading is going to be. So I also get into this from different religious perspectives as well. We do the Kabbalah, we do Christianity, we do Yoruba, Canaanites, Moabites, and we also talk about Chinese, Greek, and Roman mythology. So we touch all religious walks, all mythologies as much as possible. I'm constantly feeding my brain with information to share with you guys. As I get deeper and deeper to the planetary forecast, this is definitely like a real like love of mine. So, the more I learn, the more I'm able to share. Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in. So let's get started. We're gonna start with the Kabbalah. With the Kabbalah, what I love is it talks about us, learning about our natal chart and learning about our energy in a sense to heal it, to to take control, to heal, what's going on, and, get that in order while we're on this plane. So when we go into the next life, we're ready for the next lesson to come. So, for the Kabbalah, they do not study astrology so they can learn how to draw people's horoscopes. The purpose of the Kabbalistic astrology is to rise above the influences of the cosmos and take control over their own lives. So the whole goal is for y'all to level up, not for y'all to hold on to this and be like, this is how I am, this is what I am. It's more so like, this is where I come from and things like that, but I'm aware. The zodiac is merely a mechanism that the soul uses to ensure that particular qualities are infused into it at birth. The zodiac sign in which we are born transmits to us all the negative and positive traits that we will need to affect our own transformation. However, the signs of the zodiac are not the cause of our personality traits. They are the effect. So let me read that for y'all again. The signs of the zodiac are not the cause of our personality traits. They are the effect. Our karma from previous lives determines which sign we need to be born under in order to acquire the necessary traits and attributes that will allow us to correct and transform previous negative activity. So you are the sign that you are today because of your past life and things that the universe felt like your energy needed to get together in this life. So that's something else to keep in mind. Our patriarch, Abraham, was the first Kabbalistic astrologer, which was about 3,800 years ago. He wrote the book known as Sefer Yetzirah, which is the book of formation. If you guys don't have that book, you can get it. We could do a book club. I would like to, bring back the book club again, but yeah, I have that and I'm reading. As we delve into Kabbalistic astrology, right away, we find one significant difference between it and conventional astrology, which is Kabbalistic astrology uses different calendars, while conventional astrology is based on a solar Gregorian calendar. Kabbalistic astrology uses the Hebrew calendar, which takes into account the positions of the sun and moon. That's something else that you guys want to get aligned with. We can get aligned with the Hebrew calendar. I have my business book. So one thing I love about my business book is because I'm so versatile, so is my business book. So we do have the different calendars in the business book. We do have recognition of the different holidays of the business book and things like that. So if you want a dated book, it does cost like $5 more because it's a little bit more effort into putting the different dates, but it is there for you guys. It does exist. I am in the process of getting more aligned with at like our calendars of before, because I am so out of tune with the calendar of now. I won't even lie to y'all. I don't know. It just, I don't feel it. I rise with the sun, I fall with the moon, and, and that's what's happening. But yeah, the calendars are definitely available on the business books. And I think we can expand on that and provide actual calendars. So anyway, each month we have the ability to take control over the astrological influences of this month. The Kabbalah centers around the world offer new moon connections, featuring meditations and wisdom that teach you how to take control of the subconscious of that month. So that's why you are sitting here learning about a planet that is not your sun sign. We're learning how to utilize this energy that is raining upon all of us. Let me go to Facebook, because I think Facebook delays like your comments. So below is a brief overview of some of the secrets contained within each month. So we're going to get into Aries, which is also called Nissan. Aries is the first of the fire signs and the first sign of both the lunar and the solar astrological cycles. And even though Hebrew calendar recognizes Rosh Hashanah as the new year, Nisan is actually the first month of the calendar year, which is why I started this video with Happy New Year, guys. It's our new year. This is our time. Those born under the sign of Aries are typically powerful, energetic, vigorous, pioneering, aggressive, progressive, militant, and domineering. When it comes to fighting, they will do anything to be the winner and the first to hit the target and defeat the enemy. I know a few Aries people. I know this to be true. And I love the fact that some of my Aries people are becoming, what's that noise? I think it was the noise of me trying to share stuff while I was on here. Can y'all still hear the noise? Because you shouldn't still hear the noise. I hope you don't. Um, but yeah, so I know a few Aries and they do have that energy and they are becoming aware of how they try to exert themselves on other people. And I love it. It's a process. So historically, the month of Nisan marks the Israelite exile from Egypt and the beginning of the journey from slavery to salvation, from bondage to freedom. And that is so beautiful, especially with what we're going through right now. Okay, you guys can hear me. Awesome. So it's awesome, especially for like what we're going through now, as far as like the great awakening of this Western world. And a lot of us are realizing that we are actually spoils of war, which is why the aboriginals of this land don't have freedom. We are spoils of war. We were on the land. They came, they conquered, they sent their undesirables to the land. They conquered us because we was not ready. we didn't think that this was gonna happen. And that's what happened. And that's what keeps happening, right? When we had Black Wall Street, when we have the Black Renaissance and all those different things that occurred, we still fell to the nobody's gonna bother us type vibe. And what happened? We got bombed, we got infected with things. Now we're dealing with mental slavery, which I feel like is the worst, because now we're dealing with people really convincing us to invite everyone to the cookout and to feel guilty or bad if you don't feel that way. And it's causing a lot of us to lose sight of reality and of history and the way things work. And so I think mental slavery that we're in right now is like the worst. It's down to the music, movies, television shows, and everything like that. If you notice, a lot of the mainstream Aboriginal music is about disrespecting the women and killing each other. And we dance to that and we celebrate that. And we're, getting awards for that. I don't see Talib Kweli and Mos Def at the Grammys. I don't see Sons of Kemet at the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? So like, just keep that in mind. And it's a beautiful parallel because that's what we're going through right now. We're coming to liberation. We're coming to freedom. Enough is enough. We're not going to keep playing these games. Everybody thought that Biden was going to be the answer. For those of you that are sitting here waiting on checks, more power to you. But the rest of us are coming out and going for the freedom. All the TV shows, mixed couples, you're right. All the TV shows have mixed couples, again, pushing it into your brain that, everybody needs to be invited onto you. One of the analogies that I like to use is I think of us as cells. I feel like we're like cells, and we could even make us even smaller and say that we're organelles of a cell. And when I think about my body, because you have to go inward to enjoy the outer space experience, when I go inward and think about my body, the last thing I want is one of my organelles to be like, nah, we're gonna go over here and inside of this cell over here and chill with these organelles. Because that's just what that's our emotions. We're more emotional than we are logical. So my cells are now more emotional than they are logical. So now my cells are starting to do what they feel and not what they're supposed to do. Now if my cells do what they feel, now my organelles are mingling with each other and creating new organelles, new cells, new body part. My body don't know what to do with them things. My body is looking for the old body parts that was keeping it alive. So what am I going to do? I'm going to die. I'm going to die because all my cells in my body are doing what they feel. So I know like talking like that strikes nerves in people, and I get it, but like that's the same thing like when our parents chastise us. It bothers us. It hurts our feelings when our parents chastise us. But at the end of the day, you know that was something you needed to hear. That was something that was guidance that you needed. And that's a part of the problem. A lot of us are using it's an overabundance of a lack of emotional intelligence, and there's a big play on it, and it's beautiful that there's a parallel happening from slavery to freedom, because Lord, we have been slaves to our emotions since Christianity. I'll tell you. Everything has been about feelings, and I personally, being a Virgo through and through, I'm sick of it. But anyway, Nissan allows us to leave behind the personal blockages that prevent us from achieving true freedom in areas of life. The same energy that was revealed when the Israelite nation left Egypt is revealed every 14th day of Nisan, when the moon is in full force. Nisan is ruled by Mars, the planet of war, which allows us to wage war on the conflicts in our own lives. It supports us in infusing the year with the right consciousness in any war zone, whether it is between nations, people, or our own in conflict that rages between us on a daily basis. It's like the fight between the desire to receive for the self alone and the desire to share. The opportunity to redesign our entire year, to implement order instead of chaos, freedom instead of slavery, and it falls on the 14th of Nisan. So the 14th of April is also a beautiful day, and I'm gonna tell y'all why later when we get to the planetary forecast. So it's really dope. Keep that in mind. The 13th and 14th day of April. Keep the thing in mind because as we keep going, those dates are going to come back up. Um, at the event commonly known as the Setter, each of us have been given the power to utilize this cosmic window to reign victorious in this battle against negativity. So that's what we have on the Kabbalah. So now we're going to get into paganism and Christianity and Western African and Yoruba and Greeks and Romans all in one. Because I've been researching this for about a lot of years. I want to say like 10, 12 years now. So what I have is big binder and a bunch of notebooks of notes from all the texts I've read, all the websites I've read and stuff. I like to cross research and all that stuff like that. So this is what I share with y'all, my research over the decade. So yeah, the sun actually went into Aries this year at March 20th. A lot of us get hung up on dates, like, oh, well, Aries season is usually on these dates, and that's not how it works. It's when the sun gets there, that's when it starts. So every year it's about a day or two different, and that's okay. Chill out. So this year Aries season started on the 20th. Last year it was on the 21st. And Aries season is going on till the 18th this year. Last year was till the 19th, but the 18th this year is when the sun will be going into Taurus. So we went into Aries season on the 20th at 6:30 in the morning. Beautiful day. And this is the first sign of the year. And according to the lunar, and those born under this sign are usually powerful, energetic, aggressive. This season marks, I don't want to read all that stuff again because we just went through that. This is the beginning of spring, new year, new beginnings. The symbol of this season is the ram, and this expresses stubbornness, determination, fiery, unstoppable energy. So when people ask me about signs and sign compatibility, like if you guys are interested, and like I do romantic compatibility based on signs and stuff like that. I have people messaging me for consultation and stuff like that. And what I tell people is you have to think about the symbol of your zodiac energy, right? When you think about the symbol, you have to think about the behavior of that symbol. So what do we think about when we think about a ram? It is a very strong being. It will come for you. It's not afraid of confrontation. A lot of the time it initiates the confrontation. A very strong, powerful being, right? So, excuse me. So that's what you have to think about when you think of Aries energy. Think about the symbols for it, because that's a good depiction of what that energy is. Aries is also fire energy, and any energy that goes under that fire energy has strong basic instincts, also quick in temper and quick to cool down, physically active and sporty. Again, think about the energy of fire. Fire takes over a room, right? Fire takes over a room. Fire is something that you're fascinated by. Like if I walk into a room and I see fire, it's a few things that might happen. If it's a big, your Aries rising, my son Ezekiel, he's a Leo sun, Leo moon, Aries rising. And that makes sense that you're an Aries rising because you're a little combative verbally. But I love it though. I love that about you. Like you don't take no shit. But yeah, so you got to think about the energy of fire. Like, okay, so you walk into a room and you see a fireplace. You're going to notice the fireplace. It took over the room. It changed the whole vibe of the room. Think of a living room with a fireplace and without a fireplace. It changed the whole vibe of that room, right? Or when you walk in a room and you see candles versus when you walk in a room and you don't see candles and the candles are lit. It takes over the energy of the room. It's hot. You want to be close to it for heat, but you don't want to get too close because it will get burnt. You know, fire can get wild. If you put fire around air, what's it going to do? It's going to get bigger. If you put fire around water, what's it going to do? It's going to get squashed. Does fire want to be squashed? No, fire does not want to be squashed. So fire and water are not good. Fire and earth, well, think about a match to a flame. A match provides grounding to that flame. Now, if you didn't have that match there for the flame will be everywhere. It would not be on that match, you know what I mean? It would lack that grounding. So when you guys think about compatibility, whether it be for friends, relationships, business partnerships, etc., I want you guys to be in tune with your natal chart and the energy that's on the chart and how you are connecting yourself with the energy of that person's chart. It's very, very important. Very, very important. I like to think about people in the terms of being like compound solutions or like chemical solutions, and when they come together they create chemical reactions, and that is the said planets come together, and I visualize that on an atomic level. My mind worked different. I built things in my brain, but yeah, so that's the fire energy. The tarot card associated with fire energy is the suit of wands, and these cards deal with the here and now, and these are also indicators of action and creativity. So for those of you that want to get in tune or get in line with tarot reading and tarot cards, if you pull a fire card, that card is usually about here and now, being present and also taking action. It's an action card. Something needs to be done or has been done. The stones that associate with the fire energy is carnelian, which is that energy stone. Hematite, which is a good balance of energy. Citrine, which is a good merchant stone. It's also good for creative energy and focus in that creative way. Gold, which is fire signs love gold. I think anybody that has any type of fire energy in a chart loves gold to level in some type of way, shape, or form. Some people might have a fire sign in their midheaven, or in their Mercury, or in Jupiter. And if you have, a fire sign in that area, you might like gold in the sense of making money, stocks and stuff like that. But if your Venus is in a fire sign, you might like to wear gold. It makes you feel good. You want to put that on. If your ascending or your sun sign or even your moon sign is in a fire energy, you want to wear the gold. You like the gold in your house, in your space. Little things like that we don't even pay attention to. That's all like in your makeup, your energetic makeup. You got a biological makeup and you got an energetic makeup. So going on, obsidian is also a really good stone, especially obsidian, and I would also include lava stone and smoky. Just nice black grounding stones are good for fire energy, for protection, especially during this time where a lot of things might be igniting you, flaming you, and blowing you out and stuff like that. And also tiger's eye, which is a good stone for insight, which I think is beautiful for Aries, because of the Aries that I know, insight can be lost easily when that fire get too big. So those are the stones for that fire energy, and any fire energy. So if you have Sagittarius or Leo energy, this is specifically for the fire effect. This is not like Aries specific. This is fire energy, period. So moving on into cardinal. So we know that Aries is a cardinal sign, which means it is the sign of the initiators. This is the leadership energy. You have three signs. You have cardinal, then you have mutable, which is our adaptive, and then you have fixed, which is our stubborn. I don't move for nothing to nobody. This is the cardinal energy. This is along with Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Those are all cardinal energies of the different elements. And then people under the sign are initiators. They're trendsetters. They're self-motivated, active, and independent. They also can be seen as arrogant and domineering and hasty. So again, go back to your chart. Look at the Aries in your life where you see that Aries energy. This is where you exert that kind of energy. You're a leader in that space and place in your life. The Mars is also associated with Aries, and Mars is the planet of war, which allows us to wage war on conflicts in our lives, and it encourages us to infuse the year with the right consciousness in any war zone. Lust, skillfulness, preservation, our animal instincts, energy, action, and sexual desires. And the tarot card that's associated with the planet Mars, if you pull it upright, it's the Tower card. And upright, unforeseen obstacles and disruptions that are difficult to deal with, abandoning past ties. And that's beautiful for Aries energy, as this is the new year. Scorpio sun though, that's water. Yeah, you're a Scorpio, so you just said you were an Aries rising. So you deal with conflict. Your sun sign is your outer self, how you appear to others. Your moon is what you feel comfortable doing when you're in your comfort zone. That's your comfortable space. Your rising is what you expect from others and what you think they expect from you. This is how you exert yourself into people. So you're a Scorpio, so you might deal with conflict with the mask that you wear and how you exert yourself. Because with Scorpio energies, you got to think about a scorpion and the energy of a scorpion. A scorpion is walking around with his claws out, always ready to attack, always ready to attack, right? But scorpions are also very methodical. They're very intelligent. You know, they're kings in their own environment. They're kings and queens in their own environment. So you think about the behavior of scorpions and the things they do. Look up scorpions. Research scorpions. Research them. Research their behavior, how they move, and things like that. We literally were just watching something. My life partner is a Scorpio, and we literally were just watching something. On Amazon, they have a bunch of animal videos, and they had like a little excerpt on scorpions. Watch how they move. Watch how they attack. Watch how they think and things like that. And that'll give you a really good idea of your temperament to an extent. Hold on a second. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, there's definitely like a conflict with that fire and water on your end. What? No, that's an air sign, right? But yeah, coming back to the cardinal energy, Mars energy. We back in Mars. I like the fact that this is it because this is what I want everybody. If you got an energy in Aries, you will be triggered. People are gonna push you. You're gonna be pushed. You're gonna be triggered. You're gonna be convinced to react and things like that. People are gonna try to touch the fire in you. And it's going to be unforeseen things and it's going to be difficult to deal with, but the whole purpose of growing during this season is to show and prove that, like, despite the Aries energy that's going to be coming for you during the season, you keep a level head. If you pull this card in reverse, coming back to the Tower card, this is the worst of the disruptions are now over, and now it's time to place your life back together in a more positive way. So you done went through all the trials and tribulations, and now it's time to come back. As far as Mars goes, the the crystal is garnet, which is a good passion stone, good for sensuality and encouragement. Red jasper, which is the stone of stamina and strength, is a good stone for Mars. Iron is a good metal. This is good for energy protection and initiation. Rhodochrosite is good for energy and self-esteem. Mars also is associated with Tuesday, which is the day of protection, strength, courage, sexual energy, and healing. Also a day of take initiative and drive, and also a day to concentrate on how and where you direct your energy. So if you guys want to do a little channeling, a little talking to, your peoples and stuff like that during the season of Aries, Tuesday is the day to do it. And these are the things that you might want to focus on those days. The bloodstone is a good stone for Tuesday to have on your altar on Tuesdays. And this removes energy blocks. Dragon's blood is also a good stone to have in your altar on Tuesdays, and this is antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. It's also a topical. It's good for digestion. It clears out free radicals, and it's also a good calming stone. Dragon's blood is awesome. And garnet and iron are also good to have on your altar on Tuesdays, of course. Pine. Pine is a good plant to have on your altar. And this is general healing, strength, and grounding, aids with exorcisms, and it's a symbol of an elevated mind. And even on some health stuff, a lot of you guys are dealing with like seasonal allergies as we transition into the springtime. Having pine and aromatherapy is definitely good to have during this time if you have issues with transitioning into the season. Getting into the I think we're moving on. Uh, so Aries is also associated with the first house, And this is the angular house. Its cusp is the ascendant of one's natal chart. It represents the body you were born with, your physical appearance, and general temperament. Natal planets in the first house have a strong influence on that person's life. When planets transit into this house, our goals are manifested and new projects, ideas, or perspectives finally take form. I have a lot of energy in my first house. I'm actually a Leo rising, so my first house is Leo, even though it's an Aries house. So I got like that double fire joint, which is why I'm always trying to be like, I like to be a leader. I like to be a leader. I like to be a teacher. I'm a village woman. My dream is to buy some land and have a village. I want to open my door. I want to see some animals and some plants. I want to see my peoples. I want an outdoor community kitchen. I want an outdoor pool. I want indoor stuff. I want a boarding school for our Aboriginals. For those people who don't feel comfortable living on the land, they can send their kids to come, and we got a boarding school there. And that's how I envision it. That's how I envision it. That's what I want to build. That's what I want. That's what my soul is like yearning for. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Now we are moving into Metu. I love this book. For those of you guys who have been aligned with me, I have been reading this book with Ezekiel for years now. I'm making my business to read it once a month, of course, during each zodiac season. And it's great. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy following it. I have intentions on, my son is about to be 15 years old. So I have thorough intentions on rereading this book from page 1 with him now that he's older. Because the first time we read this book together, I believe he was about 11 or 12. So it's time for a little rehash, you know. But getting into Hero Kahudi, that is the netter of this season. And that's the Kemetic term. Canaanite is Kama-El. Kabbalistical is Gabora, and Yoruba is Ogun. And Hindu Kush is Bagalamuki. I think I pronounced it right. If I didn't, please. And we're dealing with the 5th sphere right now. And I wrote notes on it. The 5th sphere is the sphere of enforcement, the celestial government or administrative seat of man's analytical faculty. Man understands and applies principles of justice. One must separate from himself and apply proper judgment to himself. The fact that people see war as a threat to survival and flourishment shows we have not yet met this faculty. And that's beautiful. I love that. Wanna know why I love that? Because I want war. Like I told y'all before when we started this thing, we are spoils of war. We are captors, which is why police officers can shoot us in the street and get away with it. It's why you know, these supremacists can do whatever they want and get away with it because we are spoils of war. It's just that they erased history so much, they've confused themselves. At least they confused their young. They confused their young successfully. The young, our age of their tribe, they're lost. They have no idea what their parents and grandparents and their grandparents, they have no idea. They have no idea. And that's scary. That's scary for us to still stay as, well, that's scary for them because as we're enlightening, they're dumbing down. They're losing their information through their generations while our generations are starting to come back in alignment. So the pendulum swings, Ashe. And with that being said, I love this because I had this conversation recently and I was like, it's time to go back to war. We have to get stuff back in order. I have sons. There's so many boys in my family, and they're all young age. They're young age kids. They're not adults yet. And it's not fair to them for us to know the things that we know, but still we're not going to do anything about it because we're scared. So what does that mean for my sons? You know what I'm saying? Do we not see the direction that this world is going with this vaccine and COVID and quarantine? Like, I just read an article the other day. There was 100 people outside. 100 people outside, and the cops went to break it up. It's to the point now where they're not even letting us be outside in big numbers. The cops got attacked, rightfully so. Keep attacking these motherfuckers when they come for you because they're human too. But that's what's happening. So it's not for us to be like, oh, I'm scared and I think something's going to happen to me. No, it's for, I have kids. I could potentially have kids. I at least got cousins and nephews and nieces. And I see the kids in my neighborhood and they deserve better. Everybody around me just deserves better. And if I got to sacrifice myself I'm comfortable because I know I'm going to come back because I know how life works, you know. And that just comes with, you know, getting in line with the netters and the laws of Ma'at, and realizing that, you know, we're not better than the whole and we're not bigger than the whole. And to use your personal fear as a reason to not do what you need to do for the whole is trash. Cut it out, y'all. So hopefully that's what Aries is putting into all of us as we tap into this warrior energy, and we just start having conversations along those lines of let's just get shit done. Stop moving in fear. Even if y'all don't want to, you know, start off with guns out, at least be prepared to use them. Be prepared to use them. Have them at hand. Be prepared to use your body as a weapon, and have that at hand at all times. You know? And let's start building and stop being afraid to build and separate. It's necessary. Moving on. So that was the fifth sphere. Oh yeah. So coming back. Heru Kahudi. Um, this is the divine principle that safeguards our existence from our injustices of others. This is rooted in you reap what you sow. Be consistent in being just with others, and you will be spiritually protected by this divine power. In comedic tradition, it is the form in which Heru, sorry, it's almost Forex time. In comedic tradition, it is the form in which Heru fights against Set in order to regain the throne. Control over one's life, Heru Kahudi, corresponds to the extreme surges of adrenaline that supports our aggressive sexual arousal and immune responses. So this is during a time where we come to realize that we do reap what we sow, and we have to be definitely aware. And the Ogun, or in Yoruba, the Ogun is a warrior and powerful spirit of metalwork, as well as rum and rum making. Okay. Um, I kind of like lost my page a little bit. That's okay. I don't know. But anyway, so moving on, the planet is Mars. The day is Tuesday, like we, you know, spoke on before. I think I wrote this a little backwards. That's what it was. So the colors during the season is blood red is one of the colors, and blood red is deals with the root chakra, right? And this deals with life force, energy, vitality. It deals with addiction, libido, and sexuality, as well as digestive orders. And this area also facilitates a connection with nature. Red is the color of passion and royalty. Also the color of power, leadership, war, vengeance, stamina, and vitality. The other color during this season is purple. Again, we dealing with the color of royalty. This deals with the crown chakra. So I love this because this is a nice alignment of above and below, right? Purple being our spiritual and red being our physical. And I've been reading the Holy Quran of the Moorish American Science Temple. And ironically, in chapter 3, last night, we spoke on heavily about the higher and lower self and your animalistic energy. And that was pretty good. So yeah, that was just like a nice little alignment for me. But this deals with inner development, spirituality, enlightenment, the seat of the soul, and cosmic energy. Purple is also the color of justice and judgment, royalty and industry, age and wisdom, spirituality, insight, and devotion. We're also associated with the number 11. In the Bible, this signifies judgment and a lack of order. In spirituality, the number 11 signifies insight, intuition, spiritual transmutation. And 1111 is a symbol of spiritual awakening. Um, as far as the gems to have during this time, red coral is one of the gems to have. Somebody actually recently bought a red coral Nefertiti pin from me. I have red coral, or I did, and yeah, I think I have a few more pieces with red coral in it actually. Root chakra energizing stone. This enhances courage and self-esteem. Best to wear Tuesday mornings between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. Garnet. Garnet is also a root chakra energy balancing stone. It enhances one passion and sex drive to appropriate balance. So if you feel like you like sex too much or you like sex too little, this will bring you the balance that you need. Um, And this is also considered a traveler stone and a good stone for love and business success. And the best time to wear a garnet stone is Tuesday morning after a bath. So you do the red coral before the bath, well, like when you first rise, maybe meditation time and things, and then get out the bath and put on the garnet. As far as herbalism goes, to having your bath time at this time, Rompe is a good one, and this is Rompe Saraguay, and this removes negative energy and spirits. Holly is also good to have in your bath, and this removes evil and negative spirits. Anamu is good to have in your bath, and this helps with mood disorders, and it's also a great immune booster. Pine is good to have in your bath, and this helps with respiratory ailments. Again, coming back to those who are not transitioning into the season well, put pine in your bath to help you with your allergies and being stuffed up. It balances emotions, heart chakra, and energy cleanse. And Vencedor helps with problem solving, mind clearing, success, and justice. The oils to have during this time: pine, cedar wood, which is good for spiritual grounding and cleansing and awakening. And it also removes blockages. And for incense, you want to have pine and cedar wood for the same reasons, and also tobacco. Recently, ironically, a conversation about tobacco came up, but tobacco is also good to have as an incense, and it carries thoughts and prayers through the spiritual world. So the smoking of, tobacco and stuff like that has actually been a spiritual practice, that has obviously been, abused nowadays as we smoke, cigarettes and cigars and all that stuff like that. But yes, the tobacco is used to carry on spiritual messages to the next life. And that's what I have for baths. We have our mantras or our words of power during this time, and I'll actually be posting a nice little short video about that. Maybe doing like a little musical thing about that with you guys sometime this week, so that you guys can hear it and you guys can read it and sing it along. The spiritual direction during this time is the north, and the mundane direction is the southeast. So keep that in mind when you are in prayer during this time. Personality portfolio. Through its action on the kabit, which is your animal spirit, your lower self, the hot and dry energy of Mars has the following effect on the personality. And we're dealing with sphere 9 when we're dealing with the effects on the personality. And when we deal with sphere 9, just like a little side conversation, this deals with completeness and action and change, achievement, order, physical prowess, forgiveness, compassion, selflessness, miracles, and wisdom. And the tarot dealing with this number, it means forthcoming problems. Again, coming back to the idea that during Aries season, you will be dealing with forthcoming problems, and that's okay. In Metu the ninth stage of manifestation, which is the mother of all living things, it gathers physical elements and forces and coordinates the forces of other 8 manifestations to give rise to physical things, which can be considered as the divine womb. This is where you put all the elements in, and out comes your outcome. People with 9 energy work without motive, and their purpose is for the greatest good of all. They have a protective energy and great power and love in their soul. I love 9s. I have 4 9s in my birthday. 9s are definitely my number. I believe everything happens for me in the love of 9s. I can't even explain it. I could, but it will take forever for me to explain to you guys how powerful 9s have been to me. But anyway, so coming back to the personality portfolio, we're dealing with the sphere. The positive emotional traits are courage manifesting as the lack of fear of bodily harm. So you got the warrior spirit. You're not scared of anything. You're not scared to fight for other people. You're not scared to stand up for yourself, so on and so forth. Energetic, prudent, magnanimous, forceful, enterprising, constructive, muscularly skillful, zealous, passionate, delighted, and motivated by situations involving challenges or hard and dangerous but relatively short work. Excuse me. Negative emotional traits during this time are quarrelsome, antagonistic, pugnacious, arrogant, impetuous, rash, choleric, destructive, violent, forceful, excessive, irritable, overzealous, and excessively passionate, inclined to tobacco, alcohol, murder, treason, cruelty, etc. So you're inclined to do some shit as an Aries. And I feel like it's all about like channeling your energy in just a different way. Like, my thing is, like, if you know, like, you're this, aggressive person and you like violence and you like these things, why not use it in a good way? Like, go for a wrestling team or learn how to box, learn how to exercise, become a boxing coach or something like that. That way you're still utilizing that thing that makes you tick, but you're using it in a constructive way. Like my partner, his Lilith is in Aries actually. So that's the thing that he tries to suppress about his stuff. But he uses it in a really like good constructive way. Like he knows when to go off to the side and be cool. He also, he's very athletic. He's very he's very competitive. And he's boxing. He boxes. And that's, those are just like really cool, healthy ways to um, exhibit said energy. So mental traits of this energy is analysts gain insight into things by separating them on their parts or abstract ideologies. And social correspondences, as far as careers or like neighborhood functions of this Aries energy. Um, This is soldiers, fighters, warriors, executioners, butchers, slaughterers, hunters, people employed in dangerous undertakings, firemen, athletes, mechanics, surgeons, analytical theoreticians, criminal lawyers, prosecutors, policemen, shrewd and driven business executives. I really bang with Metal Netter on this level because it's so true. The things that I just read to you, we're going to read about them in the news. We're definitely going to read about it. You said me too, me. I'm speaking to y'all souls out here. Yeah, it's definitely we're definitely going to read about these things in the news. It's definitely going to be some things going on with the army. I see, we have Biden back in office. So now with these people back in office, they're going to bring the wars back up. We weren't really we were at war. It really kind of wasn't. But now, like, all the things that Obama was doing, and the Bushes and the Clintons and all that war stuff, all those kids going missing. The kids are going missing again. I don't know if anybody noticed, but 2 years ago, I don't care whose fault is it. I don't really care who to give credit for. But last year and a couple years before that, we had thousands of children popping up. Children were not going missing. They were here. And now we have this person in office again, and the children are going missing again. Mostly immigrant children that are getting stuck in between the system of getting sent back home. They're going missing again. There's a lot of stuff that's starting to happen again. Please pay attention. But yeah, the war and all that stuff is going to come back up. We see the policing, it has not stopped. I'm very in tune with this book. This book has been my introduction to emotional intelligence times 1,000. Let me tell you, I'm so aware of the images and sounds that are being fed to me with intentions. I am so fucking aware. I don't allow anything like these videos that we keep watching that emotionally invoke us to be angry or to be fearful. That is with intentions. That's the same thing these people have been doing since they came here. They used to make flyers about us, showing us in cages, acting like gorillas, attacking their women and their children. This is what they used to do in flyers. This is what they used to do when they used to, torture our kings in front of us in the middle of town and make us watch. They used to take our biggest kings, our biggest gods in our tribe, and they used to do stuff to them in the middle of the village, and they used to make us all watch. And if we felt smaller than that person that was being tortured, you definitely wasn't going to do what they were telling you not to do, Ashe. It's the same thing they're doing now. We watching our gods get shot. We watching our gods get harassed. We watching our goddesses die on an operating table trying to give life to our gods. We're seeing all these things, and it's by design. It's the same stuff they was doing with the flyers. It's the same stuff they was doing with the buck breaking, with torturing our gods in front of us. None of this is different. All of this is still same mentality. It's the same people that's doing this. So, like, just be aware. Yeah, you can get this book. I found this book. I was actually in Virginia when I found this book. And I had been trying to search for it at a reasonable price because everywhere else it was like $50, $60. But when I went to this one spot, it was only 20. I found it at Virginia Beach. Um, but there is a free PDF file on Google. So if you guys are really interested in having a copy for now, just message me and I can send you the free PDF link so that you guys could at least have like, you know, the words, and you can always print it out and stuff like that too. That's always an option. But yes, this book definitely like designed the emotional intelligence to me to know when I'm being controlled, to know when I'm being conditioned to believe and behave a certain way, especially with all this vaccine stuff. And the news has been such a primary tool for controlling people and things. And that's because we're separated from self. We are separated from self in the Most High. Yeah, you're right. We are separated from self in the Most High, and our time is coming. Age of Aquarius. Yes, definitely, our time is coming. Definitely is the age of Aquarius, and our freedom is coming. And that's one thing I love about the energy of Aquarius energy. I have a son. I have two sons. One of my sons is a Taurus sun, an Aquarius moon, and an Aries rising. No, I'm lying to y'all. He's a Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Leo rising, because I'm a Leo rising too. He's a Leo rising, and his Venus is in Aries. So his emotions, it's on Amazon for $40. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's definitely worth it. I read this book once a month. It's definitely worth it. Yeah. So like, I know what you mean. Like when I think of independence, I think of my sons. My oldest son is a Leo sun, Leo moon, Aries rising. And I have my other son as that. I'm a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Leo rising. It's just like we're just a tribe of very independent people. We don't take no shit, not even from each other. So it's like when I look at them, I see warriors. But I want to put them in a space where they are prepared and educated to be what they are. And I want them in a space where they're allowed to be what they are. They are warriors. They are leaders. You can't say shit to them. They question everything, logically so. And they're still very respectable and very polite. Mannerisms are 1,000. You will never know that these people don't listen to me. You'll never know. But like, yeah, that's how it goes. We're definitely in that age. It's time for us to come up because these babies that's coming up under us that are in middle school and in high school, they're not taking no shit, y'all. And like, it's different. It's different to the point now where we need to create a nest for them to be who they need to be. We definitely do need to create that nest for them. So those of you guys who are engaged in educating, start educating on self-defense, start educating on weapons, educate on law, on black law, on whatever other law that these other people be out here using against us and stuff like that. It's time to educate them and arm them. We make a lot of safe spaces for other adults where we can chill and smoke weed and listen to each other perform, and I love that. But it's time to be constructive as well. Everything is all fun and games and, buying clothes from each other. I love to make jewelry and I love to provide my jewelry. My jewelry is also healing pieces. So, I have logic in my jewelry. At the same time, I want to create a village. Like I told y'all, we need to have, constructive things for us as well. We need schools. We need to arm our children. We need to arm our future, and not just the 5-year-olds. These 20-year-olds are still children, and they out here and they're angry and they don't know who to be mad at, and they don't know how to direct this anger or how to build upon it. And it's up to us, the ones that's out here like, hey, we are aware. I see so many people in this thread that are so aware. It's time for all of us to have at least one organization for these young people to be armed and educated. To be armed and educated, because it's going to be really, really hard for them to get ahead with the way things are going. I feel like that it's going to be more things that, or especially with how school is going. We already know that schools in our area were already trash when they were in person, and now they're online. I pulled my kids all the way out of school. I'm not playing. We're not going to play this limbo shit. I've been wanted to pull them out of school because when they were physically present in school, they were not being enriched. They were not being catered to the way they deserved. So to see like y'all even do less than the bullshit y'all was already doing, nah, we're not doing that, bro. Stop wasting my children's time. You know, stop wasting my kids' time. It's time for us to build our own schools and educate our kids. And that's just where I'm at with it. So let's keep going. Because I didn't even get to the planets yet. But yeah, those are definitely the careers that are going to be for the forefront. We're going to see those things happening. Yeah. The spiritual portfolio, justice, detachment, courage, and external obstructions are going to be on the forefront during the season for all of it. Doesn't matter what your sign is. Spiritual function. Let's remember that underlying all actions is the urge to succeed, which depends on following divine law, which is Maya. Our protection from all external obstructions is the domain of Herokuhuri, but all such obstructions are the external projections of the obstructed condition of our life force caused by our breaking of the laws of Mayat and our dealings with others. By cutting our identity off from our persons and placing it firmly in ourself, the indwelling intelligence, we find the strength to be just with others in all situations. Thus, we receive protection from the Supreme Being. It also gives us the courage to sacrifice our lives for the well-being of others. The failure to detach our identity from our persons and compromises our sense of justice and our ability to grow spiritually. So, yes, being aligned, being in touch with your higher and lower self, knowing when to cut off your lower self, which is where a lot of that spiritual invocation is settling inside of. You're easily spiritually invoked because you're still holding on to your animal self a little too hard, especially all my water babies. Let's chill on that. But yes, that's what we have. Key phrases during the season. By setting to work through hard, energetic effort, through zeal, drive, enterprise, initiative, rashness, hot-headedness, arrogance, impatience, anger, violence, brutality. Being guided by one sense of power over others or the situation, the urge to move forward, to advance by being just, fair, courageous, being confident, and overconfident. Physiology. Physi physiologically, physiologically. I don't know. I know how to spell it. How do I say it? Let's find out. It is in charge of the immune system, the voluntary muscular and elimination of toxins through the skin because it's starting to get hot now. So all the toxins that were in your body, they're starting to come through your body. You laughing at me? um, So like, you know, and then you're starting to get sexually excited. You might find yourself like, all right, you know, we done with the cuffing season. The wintertime quarantine is over. It's time to, you know, start going out, start wearing my shorts. Time to put the titties out. We out here, cuz like, you know, we're starting to come into that space and place. You're about to start hearing some mainstream music about cutting off your old girl because you at the party with the new hoes. You're gonna start hearing some music about needing all the hoes and all that stuff like that. Please don't fall victim. That is the lower self of Mars energy. We don't want to fall victim to that. I want y'all to understand that your enemy knows way more about you than you know about yourself. So if you think that we're the only persons that know about this, our enemy knew about this decades, centuries ago. And that's why they're always ahead with the mental enslavement. They knew about emotional invocation. They know about our emotional is and how to invoke us. They know how to control us mentally and physically and spiritually. They know how to take away our magic. You know, they know how to do those things. So, you know, while we're studying to empower ourselves, they're studying to break us down. So while we're sitting in this moment to arm ourselves, there's music industries and movie industries and TV industries and politicians and all these other people that are studying the same thing that we're studying with different motives. This is how we're going to control the people. This is how we're going to get the people scared. This is how we're going to start a war and justify the war we're about to start. This is how we're about to invade some new lands. This is how we're about to get our people scared again and go back in the house. This is how we're about to exert more control. There's people out here doing the stuff for opposite. There's always a yin and yang. Ashe? So always be ready. Um, but yeah, coming to the pathology is acute disorder. So you might deal with fevers for those of you who have issues with transitioning into the season. Inflammations and eruptive infectious disorders, wounds, especially from guns, knives, etc., because everybody out here stabbing each other, burns and hemorrhage, blood and skin disorders, eczema might start to flare up during the season as we're dealing with transition. Ruptures, injuries, and accidents Therapeutic wise, comedic therapeutics during this time might be surgery, stimulants, tonics, aphrodisiacs, resolvents, caustic and rufacient vesicants. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. I forgot it was still morning. So yeah, it's a good time for surgeries if you have surgery scheduled during this time. Chinese medicine during this time, triple heater system, heat and fire disease pattern, detoxify and drain fire, um, summer heat disease pattern. So you want to just cool down your body as it's dealing with the eruptive heat and help your body transition. And so now we're getting into the time and place for all things, another section that I get into in the book. And this is a quick section that we're just going to get through real quick. So from March 21st to May 5th, we're dealing with the East, right? From sunrise to 9 a.m. And we're dealing with the laws of Maya. Your sympathetic system has just begun to put out more than your parasympathetic system. So just after arriving at the point of equilibrium, which was the spring equinox, this is the time in the cycle when the hot and moist energy is in activity. The body is heating up after being remoistened. Hold on a second. But yeah, so the body is heating up after being remoistened by the inner and outer waters of life. It is most auspicious for the undertakings requiring Jupiter's energies, the struggle for expanding one's wealth and position. Your optimism, generosity, and panoramic view of things manifest themselves most strongly here. And drainage herbs for the liver are in harmony with this point in your yearly cycle. At the sunrise and the equinox, Nekbet and Wachet are in equilibrium upon your brow. So that's what's happening from the end of March until May. And that's what we're doing. So now that we went over Aries season as a whole, now we're going to get into my favorite part. We're going to talk about what the planets is doing, what sun. We done talked about the sun this whole time. So now we're going to get into the rest of the planets, where they're at, what they doing, where they've been. Last season we dealt with everything going into Pisces energy, right? We dealt with a beautiful alignment of everything in Pisces in the 7th and 8th house. And now we're moving into Aries, and our planets are moving into the 8th and 9th house. So how we break it down is, all right, so your planet is the what? This is what it is. The zodiac energy is the how. How are you using this planet? And then the house is where and what part of your life are you using this energy? So when you're looking at your natal chart, that's how you add 1, 2, 3 and together to get your horoscope. All right. So we know the sun is in Aries in the 8th house. It entered Aries 8th house on the 20th at around 6:30 in the morning. We know that the sun is your outer self, your outer personality, your masculine energy, how you interact with masculine energy around you. It rules your ego, how you see yourself and your self purpose, and how people see you, how the people around you see you. So right now with the sun and Aries season, we just went over all of that, all the different kind of temperaments that we'll be experiencing. As far as you, what just happened? Okay. As far as you feeling more aggressive, libido rising, warrior like energy, putting your fears to the side to, do more for the whole. And we have this sitting in our 8th house energy, which is the Scorpio house. The Scorpio house is all about transformation, sex, death, rebirth, really just transformation and power and things just coming out. So with the sun, the what, which is your ego, your personality, where you're going, how you see yourself and how other people see you. sitting in this warrior-like energy. So a lot of y'all are going to be ready to, go to war for whatever your personal reasons are. So if you have, some type of conflict with someone and things like that, please be mindful of how you communicate those things during this season. And then we have it sitting in the Scorpio house, which is the where, and we're exerting this energy in our transformation. We're exerting this energy in how we seek power, how we utilize our power, maybe unraveling some secrets y'all got going on, and things like that. That's the 8th house energy. Then on April 6th, we move into the 9th house, which is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is all about changing your philosophy, changing your perspectives on things. Foreign perspectives and stuff like that. So like if you had I always think about like religion and generational curses, and like as far as like our mindset and the things we always thought to be true, and then turning around because you decided to go research, you decide to go travel somewhere. Because you went somewhere and you traveled, you learned something new and it changed your whole perspective. That's what I think of whenever I think of Sagittarius energy. And it can also come off as a bit opportunistic, as like Sagittarius energy is still fire energy. It has a tendency to be like me, 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 like fire does. So just want to be mindful of that as well. But we're exerting this energy towards changing our philosophy. So first you had your outer self being all fired up and motivated, and transformation and rebirth and unraveling some secrets and uncovering some truths and things. And then we're going to move on to changing our perspectives. We're applying this in our house of perspectives and philosophies on the 6th. And then, yeah. And then the sun will be in Taurus energy on the 19th, I believe. And just a fun date, on April 8th, the sun will be at 1919 in the 9th house. And I thought that was fun because I like nines. So moving on to Mercury. Mercury is like your decision making mind, how you communicate, how you teach, and how you learn. So we have Mercury starting off in Pisces energy, which is all about being intuitive and spiritual and metaphysical, but it also comes with some level of gullibility, being easily impressionable and things like that. As we think of fish always go with the wave of the water, right? They're always going with the water. And sometimes going with the water is safe, but sometimes going with the water can be not safe. You could be getting trapped or tricked, right? So this energy was directed in our 7th house, which deals with our one-on-one relationships and creating fairness and balance, as the 7th house is associated with Libra energy. We started off the season like this. So we dealt with our logical and our communication and how we're teaching and learning. A lot of us went into mysticism. A lot of us went into metaphysical learning and spiritual learning and things like that. And while we did that, as always, while we're learning, while we think that we're watching people are watching us. So we have a lot of companies and corporations and politicians and celebrities that are utilizing spirituality and metaphysical things and all those things to pander to you now. So because we're so aligned with Pisces energy, we know when we're going with a good water current, and we know when we're going with a bad water current. So I want y'all to be mindful of when that bad water current is coming, when a business is pandering to you. They're selling you plastic crystals, or they're a part of overconsumption, or a certain kind of labor that is, destructive. So just be mindful of that. And we were directing this energy more so in our one-on-one relationships, but also creating balance and fairness and justice, because that's what Libra does. We think about the Libra scales. It's all about, developing that. So whereas we may have, been conquering this on a larger scale with the news and all that stuff, a lot of us may have been conquering this on a smaller scale with a relationship we may have held with some healers or some people we have been following, or maybe someone you have been healing, maybe like certain veils have been getting uncovered and you guys have been building and healing on that one-on-one relationship. And that started on the 15th of March. And then on the 28th of March, we will be moving into the 8th house. So we will have Mercury, which is our communication and logic, teaching and learning, and our Pisces energy, still about being inspirational and spiritual. And we're directing it towards our Scorpio house, which is about transformation and secrets and power and passion and sensuality and all that mystic stuff. So we are directing it towards that. So we done created a balance in our relationships and stuff like that, and now we're creating a transformation. We're moving into transformation on the 28th. And then on April 4th, Mercury is moving into Aries. So Mercury will be aligning with the sun on April 4th, and our logic and our communication, how we teach and how we learn, hopefully we'll be out here feeling how I was talking earlier when we were talking about Aries season, that we all need to create some type of nurturing environment, strapping up our children, strapping up our youth, mentally, physically, defense-wise. They should be able to use their body as a weapon. They should be able to use weapons as a weapon. They should be able to use their mind as a weapon. All these things. So hopefully everybody will be aligned with that Mercury and Aries in the 8th house, and we'll be creating some transformation in those areas of our lives. Because if we pay attention to our history as Aboriginals globally, especially now, the Pacific Islanders are coming to the forefront and talking about their journey, because we have these European Asians trying to utilize the face of being a Pacific Islander to talk about. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think. I think that a white guy shot up a brothel. But and then, you had these people pandering, trying to use the Black experience and the Pacific Islander experience and all that stuff to say, what about us? And I'm not falling for it. But hopefully you guys aren't falling for it either. You guys tap into that Mercury and Aries energy in the 8th house to say, hey, we're not falling for this, because we see you in Pisces, y'all was pouring us into the bad water current. Feel me? So don't let them pull at your heartstrings, because people know how to invoke in our Aboriginals. They've been studying us for centuries. So yeah, we're definitely going to work what's happening to this Mercury energy in Aries. And then on April 13th, we're going to be moving into the 9th house. So the 9th house is, again, that Sagittarius energy of changing our perspectives, changing how we think, how we teach and learn. And it's usually from interacting with other energies, right? So our communication has started off in being metaphysical and inspirational, but also being gullible and learning how to differentiate between the two fish of that Pisces energy, if we're going up or down, what kind of person you're being around right now. And we had that in the 7th house, which was in our close relationships and creating balance and fairness and justice, right? And then we're moving on. We haven't moved on yet, but we're moving on later on this week coming. We're moving on into creating transformation in that energy, right? Our communication, how we're teaching, how we're learning inside of this Pisces energy, we're transforming what it is. We're gaining power in it. We're unraveling some secrets. Some people that have been lying about some things is going to come out in this logical mind and how you teach and learn. I think specifically like school education type things, historical things that we've been holding and thinking is true. I feel like those things are going to start to come. A thing or two is going to come out. And then we're going to move into Aries energy, where now our logic and communication and learning is moving into being aggressive and courageous and taking the leadership. And we're exerting that in that energy of, we've created new philosophies. We are the teachers now. We create a new foundation for what our youth is going to learn, who they're going to learn about, how they're going to learn it. So hopefully by the end of this month, we got some schools out. We got some new teachers. We got some new organizations to send our peoples to actually arm themselves. And that's fine. So moving on to Venus. Venus is the planet, it rules your love and finances and what you're attracted to. It's also how you like build up your self-esteem. So like for those of you that are like, oh, I got a lot of Taurus in my life. Like I have a Taurus son, my mom, my stepdad, my closest friends were Tauruses. We're not that close anymore. I got a lot of Taurus in my life. And so one thing I notice about them is their self-esteem is rooted in the things that they have and the things that they obtain. And it's not just materialistic things. It's not just materialism. It is sometimes, though. A lot of times it's food. And that's okay. That's just like how it is. You got to remove the emotional attachment to those kind of terms to really be able to hear what I'm saying. But like, Taurians, they root their self-esteem in the things that they obtain. So essentially that's what this Venus energy is. it's where your self-esteem lies. What does your self-esteem look like? How do you obtain it? How do you maintain it type vibe? And a lot of times it's with love and finances, which is why we always equate Venus to love and finances. But really, when you think of self, it's really about what makes you feel good. Because love might not make you feel good. You might hate love. Finances might not make you feel good. You might hate that stuff. But okay, so we started off with Venus and Pisces. Again, we had that love and finances and self-esteem energy and metaphysical stuff. And a lot of us were getting our self-esteem out of, oh, I bought all these crystals, breaking generational curses. I started yoga. I'm meditating. I'm starting to garden and all that stuff like that. So a lot of people were tapped into, building their self-esteem off of the metaphysical realm. Again, I still want y'all to be careful because these corporations are watching y'all and they are pandering to y'all based upon the things that y'all like. And I recently got a text message from T-Mobile. They just updated their privacy settings and settings to market to me. So I'm pretty sure eventually I'm going to start seeing some Kabbalah books and astrological things and stuff like that. But you still have to be able to differentiate like when somebody is feeding you some garbage. You know what I'm saying? I love gardening. Okay, so I always loved container gardening. I just started making friends. I literally just started making friends like a year or so ago. Like I always had like a couple friends, but like I just started making like friends that like to do what I like to do. So, last weekend we had a garden party, and to be around people that like really garden, like they garden better than me. Like I can be a fly on the wall and learn. They it's very nice. It was very nice. I even like when I went food shopping, I bought seeds and I tried to like intentionally buy things that had seeds already in them, which is really, really hard to do right now. Like fruits and stuff have seeds. I always think of the System of a Down song Toxicity is eating seeds is a pastime activity. But yeah, so I'm really, really like overindulged in gardening right now. Like I want a full like vegetable garden. Oh, wait a minute. Cat's right there. You have one in your book bag. The blue box with the white cord. What? In your book bag. Your sister's in agriculture? That's awesome. If you ever wanna do like an internet thing to like show me some stuff, I'm with it. I wanna learn. I got some corn. I really wanna go I try to grow stuff that I make that I eat a lot so that I don't have to keep food shopping all the time. Yeah, I would love to meet. I'm definitely gonna try to plan a road trip to North Carolina because that's just a drive away. That ain't bad. It's not bad at all. But yeah, so Venus, we started off in Pisces and in the metaphysical, and we were started off in the 8th house, which is the Scorpio house of transformation. This Scorpio house of transformation and secrets and power and all those things like that. Her name is Danielle too. That's awesome. The garden party. So I sent everybody a flyer every Saturday at the Alani Art Center. I help with the event coordination there. And last Saturday we had a garden party. Hand me that phone right there. Yeah, so that was just the one thing that we had. That was last Saturday. Here you go. Okay, I'm coming back. So Venus and the metaphysical Pisces in the house of transformation, that Scorpio house, and then Venus is going to move into Aries energy. Well, it has already on the 21st, on March 21st. Venus moved into Aries. So if anybody has a Venus and Aries energy, my son has Venus and Aries, so he probably was on some turn up, feeling like extra courageous, extra energetic. A lot of your self-esteem rooted in that, and burning that energy and using that energy, probably like extra emotional responses to things at this time, and is directed towards transformation. As like this conversation that I keep having with y'all about us being aware that we're being emotionally invoked, and us learning how to not be that conversation right there is a beautiful example of what Venus and Pisces in the 8th house is about. rooting your love, your finances, and your self-esteem in that metaphysical, I mean, not Pisces and Aries, and that courageous energy, that warrior like energy and things like that, but also like transforming it, transforming what it looks like, transforming what our self-esteem has been looking like for us, how obtaining our finances has been looking like for us, you know, what finances are, what currency is. It's time to change those things, because the people that we've been allowing to control the change, they're not changing it for our better, they're changing it for their better. And you know, it's time to change it back. And that's what the eighth house energy brings too, as Scorpio season is also associated with power, pendulum swings. And then we tap into the ninth house on April 4th. So we will have Venus in Aries in the ninth house, tapping into that Sagittarius energy of changing philosophies and perspectives. So after we've undergone this transformation in Pisces energy and undergone the transformation in the Aries energy, now we're going to change our perspective in the Aries energy. Okay? We're going to change our philosophies. We're going to change how we interact and integrate. And it's beautiful. And traveling as well. And then Venus goes into Taurus energy, into its home zodiac energy on April 14th, still in the Sagittarius house. So we just have double love, double love. As Venus and Taurus energy are associated with each other already. So you will feel like an exaggeration of emotions. Our real emotional people are going to come out. You're going to attract very emotional situations and conversations. Also, like moving away from the emotional sense for my people that are like, what about my monies? Like me, I'm a Virgo, I'm about the pentacles. Definitely a lot of wealth opportunities coming too, as Taurus is all about wealth as well. So you're feeling like, especially with like the weather breaking, a lot of you guys have gone into becoming business ownerships, because a lot of you guys have tapped into that Gemini midheaven that we've been dealing with. A lot of you guys have been tapped into the age of Aquarius. Everybody seemed to be tapped into Mars being in Taurus. When we had the the capital being ran through. So, you know, with that being said, like us tapping into Venus and Taurus, we're definitely going to like renovate, you know, the materialism and things we got going on, and that's beautiful. So let's tap into Mars. Mars is your planet of animal instincts, motivations, energy, desires, how you express your anger, what makes you angry, what makes you act, and how you direct your ambition. Mars is still in Gemini in the 10th house. In my natal chart, my Mars is in Gemini in the 10th house. And when you think about my motivation, stuff like that, I do a lot of things. I don't sit still well. I like to multitask. I'm addicted to multitasking. I'm addicted to projects. I always have multiple things going on at a time. That's the energy of your motivational energy being in the flexible, versatile Gemini energy. But with that also comes the inability to focus. I have a hard time focusing. Also being fickle, not being able to ground yourself in a decision making, because you're always looking at multiple things. Excuse me, all those things. And then it's sitting in the 10th house, the midheaven house, which is the house of your aspirations and your achievements. Anything in this house is like, all right, so your Mars is your energy and motivation, right? And it's sitting in a versatile, flexible energy. So basically saying, in order to be successful in your Mars energy right now, you want to tap into this Gemini energy. You want to look on your personal chart and find out where your Mars is, find out what zodiac your Mars energy is in, and align that with the Gemini energy of being versatile. So if you got an Earth energy in your Mars, all right, let's do Taurus, the extreme one. Taurus is a fixed Earth sign, super stubborn. But right now we're dealing with the versatile air energy of Gemini. If you over there still being like this in your Mars and moving, mad stuff is probably happening to you. It's mad air going around you and smacking you around and trying to get you to do something different. You're probably over there like, why is this happening to me? Why do these different things keep happening to me? And it might not be negative. It might be a lot of opportunities coming your way, trying to push you out of what it is you've been doing. You know what I mean? And so align yourself with the Gemini energy and let go of your Earth a little bit. Your Mars is in Leo, so you probably feel your fire being like even bigger. So as that Gemini energy is air, so it's probably like amplifying your fire energy, and that can create like a bit of a nervous energy if you're not very comfortable with being so fired up, if you're not comfortable with being so big like that. It may cause a bit of discomfort for you. What I want you to do while Mars is currently in Gemini is I want you to embrace the fact that that energy may feel bigger to you than usual or more fired up than usual, and use it. Use it. So, look at what house that your Mars is in, and that's usually where you probably are more inclined to direct that energy, and just use it. Because when you tap into the Gemini 10th house, it's in the midheaven house, so tapping into the Gemini energy is going to bring you success. And then we move into the 11th house on April 15th. Now, the 11th house is about remembering our purpose of our work and our humanitarian pursuits. This is the Aquarius energy. So we have Mars moving into like that energy of being successful. This is how you're going to achieve your optimal level of success. And then we're going to move into Mars and Gemini. Like, okay, so this is how you give back to others. Still coming back on the conversation. I be so aligned when I have conversations with y'all. Y'all don't even realize how in tune I am. But I'll be so aligned with y'all. But yeah, just coming back into that, just switching up how you doing it, how you giving back. Like, all right, you built all these businesses. You know, you able to obtain the money and the lifestyle and things that you wanted. Now, how are you going to give back? What are you doing? What are you doing to help build what is your mission statement? What is your mission statement as an individual? What are your goals as far as giving back to your people, to your future, your generation, stuff like that? Who is in that box? Who is in that tribe? Like who's your target audience for that? Let's get that part down pat first. Who's your target audience? Um, so yeah, that's Mars. That's Mars in a nutshell, doing some things. And Mars is like, the center of attention right now with the sun in Aries. So you definitely want to tap into that Gemini energy. It's a very nice energy. I've been living with it for about 30 years now. It's cool. I'm learning how to deal with my anxiety and stuff. I won't lie. When Mars first entered in Gemini, I had a lot of nervous energy, and I had to like tap out for a minute, socially wise anyway. And so yeah, because it was just like mine on top of what's going on outside. It was a lot. So moving on to Jupiter. Jupiter is it governs our generosity, our tolerance, our law, religion, tradition, order, business, growth, wisdom, and luck. Like whenever I always give the example good cop, bad cop when I think of Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn essentially are in the same zodiac energy all year round. In December 17th, between the 17th and the 19th, we experienced Jupiter and Saturn being the closest they've ever been. In over 100 years or so, and that's when they entered this Aquarius energy. So that's when they were in the process of entering this Aquarius energy. Last year, we spent our Jupiter and Saturn sitting in Capricorn, and that was interesting, right? We dealt with a lot of new laws and regulations and a tug of war with our authority and our authority figures, and we dealt with a lot of things coming to light about politicians and the police and things like that. A lot of us were enlightening ourselves in that sense. And not just like on a government newsletter, but also on a familial level, like maybe that patriarch or matriarch. You had like a step down type energy thing going on and stuff like that. Like just different stuff like that. So this time, us coming out of dealing with challenges and fears and stuff like that, and coming into this rebellious social energy of Aquarius, kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like you got through the fear mongering and all that stuff of the Capricorn energy that Jupiter and Saturn was in, and now we're moving into this we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want energy of Aquarius. So Jupiter is in Aquarius in the 6th house, which is the Virgo house. Virgo house is like your health, your wellness, your daily routines, how you organize your daily life, and also think about some things about Virgo energy, about being analytical and paying attention to detail and stuff like that. So you had this wisdom, luck, love, good cop energy sitting in that rebellious energy. So you guys are feeling rebellious and breaking curses and going against the grain in your family and in your friendships and in your jobs, and you're applying that in your health and wellness in your daily life. Simple, right? And then we're actually moving a little bit now. Jupiter is moving into the seventh house on April 16th. The seventh house is the Libra house, so we're going into our health, wellness, and daily routine, which is kind of like our inner self. We went inward. We dealt with all the Aquarius stuff, learning how to rebel, and become more socially inclined, especially with all this quarantine stuff messing with our heads, making us scared to come together, which is by design, because we're supposed to be within close proximity of one another for energetic reasons, because we all share different kind of bacteria and stuff that we actually do need to share and things like that. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. But we all coming in today, and now we're applying it to our one-on-one relationships and creating balance and fairness and justice in our other relationships. So that's exciting. We don't wait when we're inward with Aquarius energy. Now we're going outward in our close relationships with the Aquarius energy. So that's Jupiter. Now coming into Saturn, which is our bad cop energy. Saturn is also in Aquarius in the sixth house, still dealing with that rebellious energy and that health, wellness, and daily routines. And Saturn again is the bad cop, is the RoboCop, is the that hardcore infrastructure, that restrictions and boundaries and depression and self-discipline, and also how one may distance themselves and may be restraining themselves, their fears and their challenges. So we have this challenging fear planet sitting in this rebellious, individualistic social energy. So a lot of us are starting to rebel and go to grade, and that's fun. I love it. I love having these two planets sitting in this rebellious energy. So Uranus is the planet of progressive. I always think of that moment where your ancestors are shaking you and they're like, "Hey, now you can't keep denying what I'm showing you. Listen." I think that's what Uranus is all about. And Uranus has been in that fixed energy of Taurus. So all the things that you have been holding on to, all those things that you have been really stubborn about letting go of, more so in regards to your materialism things, I'm hoping that it's currency and our overconsumption of things. Because if we haven't noticed that the earth healed in our absence during quarantine, and we're starting to get regular seasons again, you know, a lot of things are happening progressively that are shaking us and forcing us to see the truth in the way we are living and how we have been living and how it's not healthy for us and it's not helpful for us or any of those things. So, Uranus has been this energy since March 5th of 2019. So that's about a year or so before quarantine even started. Uranus has been in Taurus, shaking us, making us see new truths in our family, in our lives, and in society. And we'll be dealing with things keep coming up and shaking our ground until April 26, 2026. So Uranus will be in Taurus in the ninth house, which deals with Sagittarius energy of changing your philosophy and your perspectives and things. And higher education and adopting new topics and stuff. All that's going to go on until 2026. So if y'all still not paying attention, y'all still don't want to see that we need change and stuff like that, don't worry. Uranus still got some stuff in their pocket for us for the next 5 years. I don't think that you can do anything else aside from Trump blowing up tunnels underground all over the world, kids going missing, quarantine, COVID stuff. Like, what else has Uranus got for us? It's going to be crazy. Anyway, moving on. Neptune. Neptune is our planet of the subconscious. It's also dreams and healing and inspirations and our psychic sensitivity. This is the dimension of life that cannot be experienced by the five senses. And we have Neptune sitting in that inspired, metaphysical, spacey Pisces energy. Again, in the eighth house of Scorpio energy about creating transformations and power and rebirth. So again, we have our subconscious creating transformations within us. Your dreams have been different. Your desires have been different. Your taste buds have been different. Your sleeping has been different. Your body tolerance to certain things have been different. Yeah, that's all your subconscious taking over and saying, all right, since you won't do right, I'm going to do it for you. And that's what's happening. The inner compass is taking over. That doesn't mean let go and not, it's supposed to be like a balance between your higher and lower self. So it's the point is to hold hands with that self that's, making you create those transformations and, a lot of transformations to occur. So Neptune has Been in Pisces since February 4th, 2012, and will remain in Pisces until January 26th, 2026. So 2026 is going to be a transformational year for us for our outer planets. Um, and these are expanded planets. These are the planets that go beyond the number 7, right? These are the planets that go beyond our animal spirit. So for them to make such a transformation, 2026 is going to be a transformational year for us. And we've been in the 8th house of transformation with Neptune since January 22nd. So while the house has changed, the zodiac energy won't be changing too much yet. And moving on to Pluto. So Pluto is our planet of death and rebirth, destruction and healing, power and secrets, and how one will transform. We have Pluto sitting up in Capricorn, which is our planet of infrastructure, challenges and fears, authority, and all that stuff like that, right? So heavy transformation occurring in our power structure, right? Whether it be in our family, in our homes, in the government, in our society, community, church, business, job, etc. All that stuff has been changing as secrets come out about, what's been going on, and things unravel and things come to the forefront. Again, this is another energy that's causing the pendulum to swing. So we have Pluto sitting in Capricorn and it's sitting in the 5th house. The 5th house is that Leo energy of confidence and Eureka moments. And we've been having heavy Eureka moments, have we not? With us, realizing certain things about, how we've been going about solving things and doing things and all that. Also in creativity and romance and pleasure and children. So transformation and all that. Again, coming back to the conversation I'm having with y'all about, we need to develop some things for our youth, for our upcoming generations and stuff like that. This Pluto and Capricorn in the 5th house is definitely like aligned in that type of energy that I spoke on earlier. So now we're going to move on to Ceres. Ceres is in Aries. Ceres rules over health, nutrition, agriculture, fertility, loss, grief, attachment, parents, and kids. And it's sitting in that courageous warrior-like energy of Aries. So, achieving optimal holistic health, dealing with loss and grief. All of that is going to come from you guys tapping into this Aries energy of being courageous and warrior-like and taking initiative and being a leader. And we're directing this in our 8th house again, the house of transformation. So the planets is really calling for a heavy transformation in our warrior-like energy. A heavy transformation in how we direct that energy, what we put it towards. A lot of us have not been putting it towards healthy manners. We've been kind of putting it towards, asinine things or destructive things. The planets is really calling for a transformation in that, and also calling for a transformation in who says what it is. Like, we've been putting the wrong people in power, right? And that's been affecting us on so many levels. So we have to change who's in power. We have to change who is in power, and also change, and that helps us. And it makes you think, because like, a lot of us like to discredit ourselves. We like to discredit ourselves, and we like to discredit each other. And then we look at these people who exalt and exempt the God in them. They walk, oh, I'm the president. I am the secretary. I am the VP. I am these things. And why are they these things? They're these things because they say they're these things. Do you really think they're really out here counting all these votes and stuff like that? No. They sit at a round table and they say, all right, well, I'm going to be the one because I said I'm the one. I'm a candidate because I said I'm a candidate. This is a law because I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I signed it. That's the energy of somebody tapping into the God in them. All I gotta do is type something up and sign it at the bottom and get my homie to sign it too, and now it's law. Why aren't you so tapped into the God in you that you can't do the same thing? Why are you telling yourself you can't do that too? Why are you saying that what you write on paper isn't as important or isn't as law as what somebody else writes on paper? You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to tap into the God in you for your overall health. And this is affecting our nutrition, our agriculture. I just got done talking to y'all about gardening, fertility. You don't have to do that. Fertility, Also, loss and grief. A lot of us lost people this past couple of years. Why? A lot of it is because of malpractice. I worked in healthcare before all this COVID stuff happened. I seen firsthand some of the malpractice that was going on. A lot of people y'all lost. Y'all should not have lost. We should not have lost a lot of people that we lost. Eventually, a lot of that stuff's going to come out, though. Don't worry about it. Because Scorpio energy is all about transformation and unraveling secrets. So eventually these people, these nurses, these half-ass CNAs, these ain't shit doctors and specialists, all these people that was neglecting these people that died because not everybody was showing up with they suit and booted. No, let's be real. A lot of people were just on Instagram and on the news to show that they were crying and they were scared too. But these people were not. They weren't treated. And I know that firsthand because I was in a facility that was networking with other facilities. And I was a unit clerk, so I had to talk to other facilities. So I know firsthand what was going on. So, you have to let the pendulum swing and be courageous and tap into this Aries energy while we're allowing this pendulum to swing for our holistic health. It's essential. I'm not playing with y'all. But we've been in this energy since February 21st, 2021. We're going to enter the ninth house, which is again going into now we're developing new philosophies and traveling and foreign interaction with this energy, and we'll be doing that on April 5th. Palace is a nebula, and it's where you can configure things in logic and reasoning, and as well as your intellect. So this is like the feminine energy to the masculine energy of Mercury. And again, Palace is in Pisces energy. So we got either we're in Pisces energy dealing with the metaphysical, or we're in Aries energy dealing with the animal. The way the planets are aligned right now is a beautiful higher and lower self equilibrium type vibe going on, right? The Pisces, the higher self, the Aries is our lower animal self. So we're coming to an equilibrium, which is beautiful because we just dealt with the spring equinox. I just read what I read in Metu Netter about us coming to an equilibrium with our hot and moist, our hot and dry and cold and moist cells and all that stuff like that. Like, everything's coming to equal. So it's cool. As above, so it's below, right? So we have this logic and reasoning sitting in this metaphysical Pisces energy, and we're directing it in a seventh house. How aligned am I? What is the seventh house? Libra energy. What is Libra energy? Balancing the scales, balance energy. So just repeating what I just said, it's about balancing ourselves. And this started on March 7th. Juno is the nebula of talents and the arts and wisdom and defense and justice. So this is like the feminine energy to Jupiter. And it starts off in Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy, again, is all about traveling and philosophy and taking on new perspectives and things like that. And we're doing it within the fourth house, which is our Cancer house. Cancer house deals with like your really intimate relationships, home, and family. So, learning to defend your home. Did I just say this? We have to learn how to arm ourselves, learn how to arm our babies and stuff like that. And it does start in the home. We have to do it in ourselves, then we do it in our home with our children, and then we can go out and create community things and stuff like that for us to create it there. And that's what the planets is causing us to do anyway. As you see, a lot of stuff starts off in the sixth house or in the eighth house, and then we go out into the ninth house, which is the Sagittarius house, which is when we start projecting things outward. Okay, so it's a whole like thing going on. But yeah, this Juno was just teaching us talent and wisdom and defense as well as justice. We want to start this off in the home. Vesta. Vesta is where your passion or your fire is. We start off the season with Vesta in Virgo, which is all about analytical energy, servitude, practicality, and all that stuff. And it's sitting in the first house. Again, that Aries energy, taking initiative. The first house is your physical appearance and general temperament. So your general temperament is all about where your passion or fire is right now. And it's definitely in being analytical. So again, coming back to the statement that I made earlier, pay attention to yourself, analyze yourself. That's why we do this, so that you can pull out your natal chart while I'm doing the outdoor chart, and we're like going over it together, you're aligning yourself, and you have to know where your passion or fire is before you go out into the world. So a lot of people are tapping into the Gemini energy. And I guess we can move on because I feel like the true note is next. Because I can just group, yeah, the true note is next. So I can just use this all in one conversation. So the true note is currently in Gemini in the 10th house, right? Mars is currently in Gemini in the 10th house. So it's a lot of energy that's calling you to engage in multiple things at the same time. Engage in multiple conversations and knowledge and businesses and stuff like that. I see people forcing themselves to indulge in something they give no cares about. I've seen this girl. I'm in a lot of business groups, a lot of business support groups, especially with my Aboriginal, more so with my Aboriginals and my women. Because those are the two main things I care about more than anybody else. I'm not going to be apologetic for that. I don't care about nobody else, honestly. But so I'm in these groups and I see these people and they're like, "Oh, I heard I can make this much money engaging in this." This person didn't bother to do any personal research on the business they were trying to open. They didn't develop a business plan or at least an ideal. You don't have to have a brick and mortar business plan to have a plan. If you look at the brick and mortar business plan, it's literally all the shit you should already have in mind when you start a business. It's just more structured for you. It's a lot more questions and more intricate. It breaks it down a little bit better. It breaks it down to smaller pieces, so it's doable goals. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It ain't nothing crazy. But if you don't even bother to do any of that, how can you come into a group of people and say, "Hey, I'm gonna start this business, can y'all tell me about it?" No, that means you're not passionate about it. That means that as soon as you put all your money into that business, you're gonna lose it because you don't even care enough to research it. You came into this group thinking people are going to spoon feed you information you should have been feeding yourself. No, because you didn't start school with me yet. High five. When you start school with me, we can do that. I want your. But yeah. Your finger. So the true node, it talks about our underdeveloped or overdeveloped traits or characteristics. Tell your brother to come here real quick. It's your underdeveloped and your overdeveloped traits that you need for fulfillment in your life here on this plane. And right now, like I said, it's in Gemini in the 10th house. So what the true node is calling us to do is to be mindful of us tapping into this Gemini energy. Don't be so aligned with the Gemini energy that you have this open project over here, this open project over here, this open project over here, this open, and you're just sitting in the middle of it, unfocused, fickle, with nervous energy because you have all these open projects, you like all of them. And I'm speaking from existence. My natal chart, my Gemini, my Mars is in Gemini in my natal chart. I've been dealing with this energy for a while now. And I'm finally learning to become aware of it and knowing when to tell myself, all right, one thing at a time, Nika. All right, just write it all down so I at least get it out of my head. Because as long as it's in my head, it'll keep playing over and over and over and over again. And that's where I get the nervous energy from because now I'm not being present. I'm not present because I'm thinking about all the stuff I got to do in the future. And that's what gives me my nervous energy. So, like, be present, write it down. But the true note is telling y'all, like, don't over tap into this energy. Don't have a bunch of open projects. And it's not just businesses or projects or activities. It could also be relationships. You got all these open-ended relationships, friendships, romantic relationships. All just because you want to have all the flavors of life, and you don't really know what you want. You don't really know what you want to be with. Like what kind of friend you want to have, what kind of friend you want to be, what kind of lover you want to have, what kind of lover you want to be. Like that's still Gemini energy to have all the open-ended things. So you don't want to tap into that either. You want to be at an equilibrium where like I'm versatile, but I'm not fickle. You know what I'm saying? And it can also be with information. Especially now, a lot of us will read one or two memes, one or two pages out of a book, and now we're a guru. Now we're an IFA. Please stop disrespecting IFAs like that. I'm sick of it. Now we're healers. Now we're, scientists. Now we're all these things because we read a meme or we read a book. That is also Gemini energy. Gemini energy will tell you all you gotta do is touch something, and now you're an expert and you can go on to the next thing. That's Gemini energy. We need to have a good equilibrium with that as well so that we can have good conversations. That's another thing. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. We know Mercury is all about conversation. All the Geminis how good are they at conversation? Not too well. We know Azalea Banks, we know Kanye West, we know Trump. Those are the three I know off the top of my head, just off rip. And I believe Moses was also a Gemini. He also had communication issues. So that's because they were not in alignment with their sign. When you're communicating with people, you should not be talking to them with intent to talk. That's like, have you ever spoken to someone and the whole time you're talking to them, you can tell in their body language that they're not listening to anything you're saying. They're waiting for that moment where they can jump in and respond and say what they want to say. They're holding that thought of that one thing they wanted to say, and they're over here fidgeting, trying to get their word in. Like they're not paying attention. It's just about what they want to say next. That's Gemini energy. Learn how to communicate, to listen and absorb, and then speak, not listening to them, waiting for your moment to speak back. That is Gemini energy. And the true note is calling you to, learn how to be flexible without being fickle. There still needs to be some level of stability in it. Ashe. And of course, this is rooted in our 10th house again, which is our midheaven house of aspirations and success. So you will be successful once you conquer this part in life. Our ascendant at this time is in Libra in the second house, in Libra in the second house. And our ascendant is our first impression, the mask that we wear, our expectations of other people and what we think they expect of us. And right now it's in Libra energy. So we have expectations of fairness and balance, right? Because Libra is all about creating fairness and balance. And then we also give that because we feel as though we are expected to give that as well. So that's what's happening at this time. Towards the third house, which coming back to that Gemini energy, which is the third house, it's all about we start in the second house. I wrote this in a weird way, so I'm not sure which part to read first. I start off in the second house, which is the Taurus energy, which is all about personal finances and changes in your self-esteem source. So the things that you guys have been holding near and dear to be your source of self-esteem, like I'm great because I have this, and I'm great because I have that. People like me because I have this, and I like people because they have that, and they carry themselves like this and that. There needs to be some sort of change in that. Also, a source of change in our materialism as we come back to that transformational energy sitting upon Taurus energy, and that's fun. I really can't wait till we transform currency. I barter if anybody's interested in bartering. I barter. I also accept Bitcoin and gold. So yeah, it's time to change like currency and stuff. Another one of my visions, I'm gonna let y'all in a little bit, is when I buy land, I want a currency exchange station on my land where you have to come and exchange your currency. We will have our own currency on the land, and it'll be our own little system. And then when you leave, you want to go back home, you can go back to the currency exchange area, exchange your currency again. But here we will have our own currency. You have to trade it to come here, and if you live within the land or whatever, and you're a part of that community, then we will be engaging in bartering and stuff like that. We won't charge each other money for things. We charge the people who are coming in money for things, and that's how we keep ourselves up. But that is my vision. And that's really like my overall center energy. That's what I want to bring to the table. That's what my self-esteem has been rooted in, my inability to do that thus far, being open and transparent with you guys. And I feel like that is starting to transform as I start to take notice of the things that I'm already doing. And it's also assisting me with my Gemini and my 10th house with all my open-ended projects, and always feeling the need to take on a new one to substitute for the fact that my self-esteem has been rooted in my inability to do these couple of things that I just haven't been able to do yet. I'm not even like I haven't been able to do it. I'm just scared of doing it by myself. Again, Gemini energy, as Geminis are twins. I don't like to do stuff by myself. My Mars is in Gemini, so I always like someone. It's not even like being alone on an everyday level. It's making big milestone things alone that scares me. But that's what's happening. And then the ascendant is moves into the third house, which is the Gemini house. So now you have the ascendant in Libra energy moving into the Gemini house, which is about interest, communication, habits, interaction in immediate community, and important information. Moving on to the midheaven. The midheaven is your most visible achievements in society. Starting it off in Cancer energy, which is all about being intuitive, creating nurturing, mothering spaces, and things like that. So a lot of us are going to start being, those of us who have been creating nurturing spaces and stuff like that during this time, you guys will be on the forefront, as you will be much more needed than usual. You'll be much more used than usual. People are going to call on you more than usually, as your energy right now is on the forefront. And this is sitting in the 11th house, so this is in regards to humanitarian pursuit. And as we see, there is like a really strong need for that stuff to be here. So if, you know, creating nurturing environments, if you have been doing it, if it's your calling to do it, your calling will be a whole lot higher right now. People reaching out to you and recognizing you and needing you will be a whole lot higher right now. So for all my healers there, hopefully y'all had a rest up, because with the midheaven and Cancer in the 11th house, definitely keeping y'all busy, right? And then we move into the 12th house on April 17th. And the 12th house is like the darkness before the dawn. This house governs all things that exist without physical form, such as dreams, secrets, and emotions. And this deals with planets transit through this house. We attract karmic relationships that remind us that all relationships aren't meant to last. So some of the relationships that you gain while this midheaven is in Cancer and you're creating these nurturing spaces and environments for these individuals, please do not become so attached. Please don't start to close your fist while you're creating, because when we close our fist, what do? We don't leave room for anything to exit, but we also don't leave room for anything to enter. So these people that you are giving this cancerous energy to, they might not stick around. But I want you to be okay with it, because the midheaven already warned us that these people that we're providing these nurturing spaces to, they just need us for a moment. They're not users or nothing. They need us for a moment, just like we needed somebody else for a moment. Okay? Our Lilith is our repressed sexuality, our vulnerability, our fantasies, our tempers, and our triggers. And right now it's in Taurus energy. So all the repressed stuff that you have about pentacles, about your self-esteem, about your stubbornness, about how you obtain wealth, what wealth look like to you, how you treat it, how you maintain it, how you give it away, all those things. It's time to do some shadow work. Time to do some shadow work. Be real with yourself. I know a lot of us, we want to be who we think society wants us to be based upon the society that we're around. You know, especially those that grow up in very conservative spaces that don't feel like conservative people. I think people pick and choose when to be conservative when they want to talk bad about somebody anyway. So like now it's time to do that shadow work and just, you know, because Taurus energy is all about your self-esteem. How you feel about yourself, how you treating yourself, what are you doing for yourself? It's not just taking bubble baths and eating food and taking yourself out on a date. It's listening to you. When you walk past a store or something, or when you walk out of your house, that voice that be whispering in your ear, like, don't go outside today, or make sure you bring that with you, or, you know, make sure you call this person today. Are you listening to that voice? That's self-esteem too. How are you treating that self of you? So we want to get tapped into that. Are you serious? Stop. I don't like the shut up word too. Let's use better words. I told you to tell Zeke to come here. Tell Zeke I said come here. He's in the bathroom. He's still in the bathroom? No. Zeke won't want to. Zeke won't want to. Hold on a second. Big crack. That's what. This water inside the teacup. Just turn it over. So by the time down here, next one. It's almost like it's just turn it on. Yeah, turn it on. Come on, back into the phone. My bad. Oh, that's where you want to be? All right. So, wow, seriously, stop. Um, where was I dropped everything. So yeah, so our Lilith is all about the stuff that we press, our fantasies and stuff like that. So stop repressing them, stop ignoring them, listen to them, pay attention to what they're saying. And this is in the 10th house. Again, this is the house of achievements and aspirations and stuff like that. So once you reach this part about yourself, you're some it's gonna be like a little yellow star that show up underneath your name. Some things are gonna fall on your lap once you conquer this part of your journey and stuff like that. This is the space of success. Excuse me. And this is all in the to the ninth house. Was the Sagittarius house. We'll be entering the ninth house on March 21st. Well, so we've already entered the ninth house as Lilith is in still going is in retrograde. Actually, Lilith is in retrograde right now. So the ninth house we deal with Sagittarius energy, which is traveling and philosophy. And then the Lilith is going to move backwards into Aries energy on the 30th. So again, we have the repressed energy, that warrior, courageous energy. We have to do some shadow work with your Aries energy starting on the 30th. So if you get angry, you want to, and it's not just anger and bad, it's motivation energy, period. What gets you motivated? What gets you going? What makes you feel ambitious? What makes you want to go do something? Anything. What makes your heart smile when you finish that task? Stuff like that. Definitely want to do some work on that with Lilith. And it's not just, that it's also your tempers and your triggers and your fantasies and what turns you on sexually. So you definitely want to tap into that, have those kind of conversations with yourself. Because Lilith and Aries, that will be beginning on the 30th of this month. And then we're going to go back into that Taurus energy of materialism after you done did all that courageous spiritual spirit energy work. We're going to go back into the Taurus energy on April 8th. And then we're going to move back into the 10th house on April 13th. So we're going to this space, then we're going to go backwards into the warrior energy, and then we're going to go back into this space. So I think that backwards energy for like those 9 days, again, coming back to the number 9, we're going to be in Aries energy for 9 days, y'all. I think that's beautiful. I think we should, hey, thank you for coming back in. So for those 9 days, starting March 30th, let's do something every day of those 9 days together. Let's do a little shadow work tuning into Lilith and Aries on those 9 days until we go back into Taurus. I'm with it. That would be healing for all of us. So Chiron is all about your wellness and your wounds versus your strengths, right? And Chiron is in Aries, again, coming into that courageous warrior like energy, right? And it's also into what house do you think that Chiron is in? Based upon the houses and everything, all the planets have been in. Where do you think Chiron is in? I see 9, 8. The 8th house, of course, the Scorpio house of transformation. We are back with our wellness and our wounds. What we think our wounds are and what we think our strengths are, they are going to be in that house of transformation. So that's some more shadow work we could tap into and we can work on, and we're tapping into that Aries energy. So celestial alignments. Remember what date I told y'all? The April 13th was the spiritual day. So we have celestial alignment to speak on. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Ceres are all on alignment in Aries in the ninth house, and that begins when? April 13th. It's officially all aligned April 13th. Sun, Mercury, Venus, Ceres, and Chiron are all in Aries, but they're in different houses. Some are in the 8th house and some are in the ninth house. We have the Mars and True Node. They're both still in Gemini in the 10th house. So definitely we tap into the Mars and True Node energy of that Gemini energy, because I feel like we're all really tapped into that Gemini energy where like we really have multiple things going on and we're burning ourselves out. And burning yourselves out is not a badge of honor. I know a lot of us are used to burning ourselves out for a job and a career. And now that we become personal like business owners and stuff like that, we feel like we're supposed to give that the same energy and that's supposed to be like the same badge because that's how we got awarded in a job. Know that your job was slavery. And those incentives were things that they learned in psychology class called positive and negative reinforcements to get you to keep working. Know when somebody was playing with your mind to get you to do what they wanted you to do. And now know that you are the one in control. So what are you going to do? And that's what I have from Mars and True North and Gemini. March 22nd, which passed, we had Mars and Aldebaran in conjunction. And Aldebaran is the brightest star in Taurus. It's considered the bull's eye or the follower as it follows, the rest of constellation. And it's connected with the spirits of rain and fertility. Taurus equals royalty and divine power. On the 23rd, we had the AM of visibility of Aquarius. On March 26th, we will have Venus in superior conjunction. On the 28th, Venus will be at its brightest. On the April 18th, Pluto will be visible in the morning. On April 15th, Mercury will be the furthest from Earth. On April 15th to the 28th, we're going to have a meteor shower. Isn't that exciting? We're going to have a meteor shower of the pie puppets. On April 16th to the 26th, we'll have meteor showers of the Lyrids from the constellation Lyra. On April 4th, we'll have Jupiter and Deneb Algeti, which is the brightest star in the Capricorn constellation. They'll be in conjunction, so you'll be dealing with the Capricorn energy. The Jupiter energy and what Jupiter is doing, and it'll be coinciding with Capricorn energy. On April 11th, we have Ceres and the Sun being in conjunction, and we said Ceres was in Aries, right? And the Sun is both in Aries. So Ceres, again, coming back to remind y'all, is all about health, nutrition, agriculture, fertility, loss, grief, attachment, and your relationship with parents and children. So for that to be in conjunction with the self, which is outer self, a lot of healing should go on during that time. And that's the 11th, and that's a couple days before our holiday on the 13th. April 12th, we have Juno stationary because Juno is about to go on retrograde on the 13th. And Juno, again, is our feminine energy to our masculine Mercury energy. So it's all about talents in the art. The masculine Jupiter energy. So it's talents in the arts, wisdom, defense, and justice. So it's about to go in retrograde. But on the 12th, it'll be standing still. Libra will be also visible on the 12th, and Spica, which is the brightest sun, will be opposite of the sun during that time. So now we're going to get into the moon. We went over the planets. We have a few meteor showers going on this month. We have 3 actually: pie puppets, the Lyrids, and the Aquarids, which we'll get into in a minute. And we have some celestial alignments, specifically focusing on Aries and Gemini energy. And so let's get into the moon. We got a whole little moon joint right here, a little moon calendar. If you guys want a moon calendar sent to y'all so y'all can be in alignment with what's going on. Okay, so the moon on March 20th, which is when we started Aries season, we were at the first quarter moon. And this was aligned with the Gemini energy. I thought I had. Yes, and this is associated with Gemini energy. So the moon is all about your feminine energy on the inside, how you feel when you're in your comfort zone and stuff like that. I really want you. I don't know. But yeah, the 21st, March 21st, we're going to go into the waxing gibbous moon, and it's going into Cancer, one into Cancer. And also on March 21st, the moon and the Tejas posterior were in conjunction. Now, the Tejas posterior is the ankle of the Gemini constellation. The Gemini constellation is seen like the troublemaker twins. And it really depends. It really depends. And this is the beautiful thing about how the war winners tell the stories. So so the Gemini twins are Greek and Roman, depends on who you tell the story, also Arabic. And so with the Gemini twins, one of them was their dad was the god who started Sparta, and the other one, of course, their dad was Zeus, because Zeus just be doing the most. So like the one brother died. He was mortal and he ended up dying, and so the immortal brother was really sad. So Zeus was like, all right, I'll put y'all both in the skies together so I can be together forever. And that's where the Gemini twins come from. Now the Gemini, this is where Gemini energy comes from. Gemini twins were traveling all over the world. Gemini is about traveling, communication, also being versatile and flexible, because they were all over the world. They were integrating with all these different cultures, all these different languages, talking to different people, stuff like that. But they also like to go to war. They will go and fight people. They will go to random places, random lands, and fight those people. And that was fun for them. Like, you know, if you listen to the way the Greeks and the Romans tell the story, they would tell the story like, oh, they were fun. They were boys. They were going out and going through little battles and having little fun battles stuff. But if you listen to the stories from the people whose cultures were being attacked, they're saying these are terrible twins. These were Gemini twins. They're about destruction and all these things. So it's really about who you ask and what your personal mindset wants to be on the thing. But so March 23rd, well, March 21st, the moon in Tajat posterior is in the Gemini constellation. March 23rd, still in waxing gibbous, but now the moon is in Leo. And then the moon will be in conjunction with Castor, which is still in Gemini, which is one of the Gemini twins. And the star is actually the back of the head. And then the moon will be in conjunction with Pollux, which is the name of the other Gemini twin. So basically the moon is still moving through the Gemini constellation bit by bit. March 25th, still in waxing gibbous moon, but we will be in Virgo. It will be a Virgo moon that rises. And oh yeah, moving to the 24th, the moon in Persepi, which is still Gemini. 25th, the moon is rising as Virgo, and the moon and Regulus are now in conjunction, and that is the brightest star in Leo and considered the heart. So the Regulus star is, well, if you look at the Leo constellation, is where the heart of the lion is, and that's the brightest star in the Leo constellation. So the moon will be in conjunction with that. March 27th, we will have a 99% full moon in Virgo. And then, as you notice, our full moons are starting to switch, as we dealt with a lot of full moons in Virgo and Leo, but now we're starting to switch into our full moons being about Virgo and Libra. So we're making a switch. On the 28th, we'll have a 100% full moon in Libra. Our moon will also be in conjunction with Parima, which is the star on the left elbow of the Virgo Virgin constellation. We will also have Venus and Mercury energy, which is where that star is. So the thing I love about Virgo, so for those of you who don't know about Virgos are essentially all the signs. And they say that because when you look at the Virgo constellation, they're one of the, there's not many constellations that can be on the upper and lower hemisphere at the same time. Virgo is one of them. Virgo also has stars that share other zodiac energies. So right now on the 28th, the moon will be on like the outskirt of the Venus and Mercury energetic star. And then on the 29th, we'll be moving into a waning gibbous moon in Libra, and the moon will be in conjunction with Spica, which is the brightest star in Virgo and one of the brightest stars, period. And this is considered, when you look at the constellation of Virgo, is where the ear of grain was. March 30th, the moon will still be in waning gibbous, but will be in Scorpio energy. April 1st, the moon and Graphias will be in conjunction. Graphias is the constellation of Scorpio energy, and it's actually the head of the Scorpion. That's where that star is. And then April 2nd, still in gibbous moon, waning gibbous moon, the moon will be rising in Sagittarius energy. In addition to that, the moon will also be in conjunction with the Shuba Scorpius. And into Aries, which is the 15th brightest star, and reddish. So on April 2nd, expect to see like a reddish colored moon, as it'll be in conjunction with that particular kind of star. Going back to March 30th, because like my handwriting, on March 30th, the moon will be at the smallest distance to Earth. And on March 31st, the moon in Zubin El Janubi, which is the southern claw of the Scorpio, will be in conjunction. And with the Scorpio energy, it brings a lot of anxiety and danger. That's like the energy of the constellation. So when the moon is in conjunction with those, just be careful. Don't go outside. Try not to. I don't know. And that's on the 30th. Um, Coming back to April 2nd, the moon will be rising in Sagittarius energy, still in a waning gibbous moon. April 4th, the moon will be rising as a last quarter moon in Capricorn energy. Um, April 5th, the moon will be rising as a waning crescent in Capricorn energy. Um, April 6th, the moon will be in conjunction with Saturn. We know Saturn is the energy of fear and restrictions and challenges and infrastructures as well as authority. So, just keep that in mind on April 6th when you're out and about. Um, April 7th, the moon is still a waning crescent, but we're rising as an Aquarius, and the moon and Jupiter will be in conjunction, which brings wisdom, luck, and justice. April 8th, 9th, the moon will still be in waning crescent, but we're rising as a Pisces energy. And the moon in Deneb Algeti, which is part of the Capricornus um constellation. It's basically the tail of the goats. They'll be in conjunction. Um the moon will be in waning crescent April 9th, rising as Pisces, and the moon and Neptune will be in conjunction, and Neptune will also be visible in the morning. And so this will ignite April 9th. Just be mindful, April 9th, April 9th. This will bring a nice ignitement to the subconscious mystic and beyond the five senses. So if you want to do some channeling, some readings, for my readers out there, April 9th is a really good time to do some readings. Put yourself out there in that way. April 11th is our new moon, and we're rising as an Aries. Our Aries new moon is April 11th, y'all. So again, coming back to those like 3 days of energy, right? What do we say? April 13th, right? To be mindful. April 13th is when we have that divine alignment. So let's start on April 11th when we deal with the new moon. The new moon is usually like between the 11th and the 12th. I do a lot of cross referencing, so I get a lot of different dates depending upon which almanacs I look at. And so like roughly around the 11th and 12th, we're rising with the new moon in Aries. So from the 11th to roughly around the 13th, our moon is going to be in Aries in alignment with all these other Aries energies that we spoke on earlier. And in addition to our Kabbalistic holiday, right? That we said that was going to be on April 13th. So I definitely want y'all to be in line on April 13th. We can do a little something, something. Whatever y'all want to do. But yes, the new moon is on the 11th in Aries. The moon and Mercury will be in conjunction, and this is all about that organized logic, people serving, analytical energy. So yeah, definitely a good time to do some teams. The 12th, we're coming back into waxing crescent, but we're still in that Aries energy. And at that time, the moon and Venus will be in conjunction, and that will bring off that heavy energy of love and wellness and self-esteem. So we can have like a theme 3 days or something if y'all want. If y'all want to do the first day being about logic and serving and analyzing, and then the next day being about wealth, love, and all that stuff. And then I'm almost done. Then on the 13th, when the moon finally rises later on that evening, we'll be in waxing crescent, but now we'll finally be in Taurus energy. And also the moon will also be in conjunction with Uranus, which will bring around that strong sense of progressiveness. April 15th will still be in waxing crescent. Our moon will be rising in Gemini. April 14th, coming back to that, April 14th, our moon and Pleiades will be in conjunction. And this is the feminine Taurus energy. This is all about, if you guys know about the story of the seven sisters, the seven, it's in alliance with the seven bodies of man, etc., etc. A lot of us say that, we derive from Pleiades energy. And it makes sense when you think about the energy of the Pleiades and stuff like that and the different constellations. I feel like I'm a Mercurian. I feel like I really came from the Virgo constellation. But also the Pleiades constellation brings comfort in mourning. So again, coming back to those that are in tune with your Cancer, creating nurturing energy that we talked about earlier in the planetary alignment. Be mindful. When I speak to y'all about the planets, I allow, spirit to speak to me too. So I don't always say out loud spirit is saying, but allow people to reach out to you If you guys, if we can, let's do the 11, 12, and 13 coming together and doing some healing as healers. And then because on the 14th, I feel like people are going to come to you if you are seen as a nurturing individual. If you're seen as a healer, that day you're going to start getting an overload of people that need help in healing. So just be aware. Coming back to the April 15th, we are dealing with the Gemini energy, and the moon and Aldebaran will be in conjunction. And again, coming back to that Taurus Gemini energy. April 17th, we're still in waxing crescent. Our moon will be in Cancer. And coming back to the 416, I'm sorry, I wrote this weird. The April 16th, the moon will be in the ascending node. So you know, we were in descending at the bottom, and now we're ascending. We're going over the top because the true nodes are really like the path of the moon throughout the lunar cycle. And the moon will also be in conjunction with our Aries Mars going on out here. Um, so be mindful of that type of energy that may be going on, especially because we know Mars is red. So if the moon is going to be in conjunction with Mars, what do you think the moon is going to look like on the 16th? It's gonna be red. It's gonna be a reddish color. And this also helps make sense when you know the moon is gonna be closer than usual. When we see that random big moon, when we see the random yellow moons and stuff like that, these are the conjunctions that I'm speaking on. This helps let y'all know what the moon gonna look like. Y'all gonna see it. It's gonna be bright. It's gonna be yellow. It's gonna be white. It's gonna be pink moon and stuff like that. That comes from the conjunctions and those stars. On a conjunction, like when Spica and the sun are in conjunction with each other, it's going to be a very hot day. That's going to be a very nice day. Spica is one of the brightest stars, and it's considered one of the, I think it's white or blue. I'm unsure, but either way, it's brighter and hotter than our actual star. So for those two energies to be in conjunction, it's definitely going to be a warm day that day. You're going to feel it. Stuff like that. That's why I'm saying this stuff. I'm just letting y'all know why I was saying it. But anyway, so the moon and Mars, and then the April 18th, we are going into the first quarter moon. Again, I told y'all the sun is going to enter Taurus energy on the 18th, on the 19th. So this will be the last day we cover the moon, is April 18th for this season. We're entering where the moon is rising as a first quarter moon in Cancer energy. The moon and Kejai posterior will also be in alignment, which is the ankle of the Gemini constellation. On the 19th, the moon in Castor and the moon of Pollux will be in conjunction. Again, those are the twins of the Gemini constellation. So we're coming back to the Gemini constellation. And then the Aquarius energy meteor showers happening. So we have 3 meteor showers this season. We have a beautiful Hebrew holiday that's happening during a dope ass alignment of like 7 planetary energies. I really want y'all to tap into that Gemini and 10th house energy. Definitely tap into that Aries and the 8th and 9th house energy during this season. And if y'all like, we can do like a little 3-day thing, and we can do like a little 9-day thing of shadow work while we have our Lilith and Aries for them 9 days, and then we go back into the Taurus energy. We could do like a little morning 30-minute just going through shadow work. So let me know what y'all think. I'm probably gonna do it anyway. It's just a matter of y'all tuning in when y'all have the time. And yeah, that's my planetary forecast today. Thank y'all for tuning in. We did a whole movie, y'all. We did a whole movie. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all got a lot out of this. I got a lot out of this. I love this alignment. This video will be on YouTube. What I like to do is like maybe a week or a couple weeks from now, like in the middle of the season, I like to rewatch this video and kind of like just rehash myself. And sometimes when I remember at the end of the season, I'll watch it again. That's what I like to do for myself to make sure that I'm staying in divine alignment as I want to without being so like meticulously like controlling things, because I am a Virgo. I will over analyze and over worry if you let me. So that's what I have for y'all today. Yeah. So if you missed this part, you guys can always tap in on YouTube and check me out. I love y'all. Have a great one.